So far, this has been my favorite place to sleep since I've been in Santa Barbara. I've been in Santa Barbara for 5 weeks now, and with the exception of 2 nights, I have been stealth camping in my 4Runner, affectionately known as the BRT. Finding the perfect place to camp has been a process of trial and error. The first 2 weeks I was in town, I actually stealth camped on a neighborhood street that's next to a park, and that's why I added blackout curtains, and that worked really well. It was a good experiment. The truck blends in with all the other vehicles on the street, and it's totally doable. You just have to be really, really stealthy. Ultimately, I moved on from there because there was just around the corner in the park a lot of shady happenings going on, and it just made me feel squirmy. So then I drove up here on Gibraltar Road, which leads into the National Forest. There's a clear line of demarcation telling you where you are entering the forest. And I can actually get to a decent parking spot to spend the night, and it's only about 10 minutes driving to the neighborhood where the surgery center is, and that's great down there too. And then 2 days ago I picked up a kid who was hitchhiking and brought him all the way to the top of the road, where you can either continue on the road and it'll take you to another entrance for the road, or you can turn right and come up to the ridge line. So I dropped him off the other night at the top where you could keep going or turn right and come up to the ridge line. And then I turned around and started driving down the mountain and found a great spot where you can see the sunset. It's really, really pretty. Last night, I ran into him again, brought him up the mountain again, and the spot that I stayed at the night before last, which is a very popular spot, was already occupied. So I came up to the Ridge Road, like the very high Ridge Road up here, that if you keep driving, I want to say east, it dead ends. So there's no way off of this road other than to turn around and go back the way you came. I don't know where it dead ends, but anyway. And up here, there's lots of turnouts that you can park at, and this has been really great. I may just come here again, because I don't think it will take much longer for me to get down into town from here as any of the other places that I've parked. Maybe like 5 minutes. And it's only because it's a windy, twisty road. It's a slow, like you can't go fast unless you want to just drive off the mountain. Anywho, the thing about parking for me finding a perfect place to park. There's no real perfect place to park. I look for something to be as level as possible. And I don't mind sleeping on a little bit of an incline because, you know, I can just face the truck in a way that my head is kind of up, or even, I don't mind if my head is kind of up or even slightly down. I don't want to sleep in a spot where the truck is leaning left or right. That's no good. It's kind of like finding a spot for your backpack, like for your tent when you're backpacking. And the other thing I like is to have a good cell phone signal. Because I want to be able to watch YouTube videos and or a movie and or scroll on Instagram. I'm in civilization. If I was in the middle of nowhere and there was no cell signal, I would be fine because then I would just do other things. Read a book. I read a book. I've been reading books lately. Anyway, but the point is, I'm looking directly at Santa Barbara right now. And because of that, I would like to have cell service. So as soon as you get up here into the mountains, if you go behind a mountain, the cell service disappears, you know. So this kind of checks all the boxes. It is almost completely level. Like, it feels really level. I think I might be leaning to the left just barely. I mean, it's barely noticeable. So this has been really great. And I have cell service. And beautiful views. And there's no crowd up here. I mean, there's somebody parked on a turnout behind me, and there's another person parked on a turnout in front of me, but it's nicely spaced out. Yeah, so the challenge of micro camper life is finding the perfect free place to park. And this spot has been, and the spot that I stayed at night before last have been practically perfect. So I'm gonna have to try and shoot for these places again going forward, because I'm here for 10 more weeks. Right, okay. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.